Steeped in Exploration is a tea house without tea. The transforming sculptural element of Steeped in Exploration uses local roofing materials to provide seating, while the blue and yellow anaerobic digester collects methane from cow manure and pipes it to a central burner to boil water. Created in Friesland, Netherlands, the portable participatory intervention is an open invitation to members of several small towns and villages to come together and gather edible plants from their own neighborhood to make tea. The uncommon communal experience of collecting plants from the local landscape requires the sharing of individuals' knowledge and experiences. It is a departure from the usual avenues of consumerist culture and open space for a more unscripted interaction and exchange. Steeped in Exploration is a collaboration between a number of local residents, including a RIJEKA, a welder, a microbiologist, a farmer, and members from the community. We're here at Pacific Street Park in Cambridge, Massachusetts, and we're going to use the Park Spark project, transforming dog waste into energy to power public art. First thing we'll do is we'll wait until the dog does its business, and then we'll scoop it up in one of these biodegradable bags that's offered by the Park Spark project. Pop it in there. Stir is a little wheel here, and you can spin this thing, and it goes right into the tank. And this mixes up the water and the dog waste inside. Methane is about 30 to 70 times more potent than carbon dioxide, so by burning it, you're actually reducing it to just carbon dioxide and water, which is a great thing for the park. Get involved and build a project that uses the energy from the methane. And this has the digester with a little tube coming off of it, powering a kettle for some tea. So it's this free source of energy that can be used in any way the community wants to use it.
Really cooked. Open House is a unique event space. It is a collaboration with the people of York, Alabama, to transform a blighted property in York's downtown into a new public art project that has the shape of a house but can physically transform into a 100-seat open-air theater free for the public. In January 2011, artist Matthew Mazzotta was invited by the Coleman Center for the Arts to organize an artwork with the people of York, Alabama. The Coleman Center is a contemporary arts organization that uses art to foster positive social change and has been bringing creativity and support to the people of York since its founding in 1985. During his initial visit to York, the artist asked people from the community to bring something from their living rooms so that they could recreate a living room outdoors in the middle of the street as a way to provoke discussion about what were on people's minds and to generate ideas about what direction they might go in. From the discussions in this outdoor living room, they identified that York really had a lack of public spaces that are truly open to everyone, and as they listened to each other's stories and experiences of York, this became a common thread. They also identified that the many abandoned houses all over the downtown have been bringing down the look and feel of York for years. From this conversation, they developed a project that uses the materials of an abandoned house, as well as the land it sits on, to build a smaller house on the footprint of the old house. However, this new house has a secret. It physically transforms from the shape of a house into an open-air theater that sees 100 people by having its walls and roof fold down. It's called open house. Open house lives mostly in the form of a house between the main grocery store and the post office, reminding people what was there before. But it opens up when the community wants to enjoy shows, plays, movies, and any other event people can think of that supports community life in York. And when the theater is folded back up into the shape of a house, the property is a public park for anyone to enjoy. In the summer of 2012, Matthew and his team began creating models of the folding structure and organized the dismantling of the abandoned house. They gathered as much of the usable materials as possible from the abandoned house before the fire department and the city did a controlled burn of the house and cleared the property of the remaining debris. They began building the structure of open house by marrying new materials with materials gathered from the abandoned house, as well as railroad track ties from the town's train yard. A year later, the people of York and the surrounding areas joined for the inauguration of Open House, which included a ribbon cutting by the mayor, an invocation prayer to bless the space by a local minister, gospel singers, music from the local R&B band Time Zone, and a screening of Dr. Zeus's The Lorax.
Totally did. Happy birthday, Audrey.
Open House directly addresses the lack of public space in York, Alabama, by using the concept of transformation to turn an abandoned building into a new community space. It provides opportunities for people to come together for years to come.
Will we be home when we been there 10,000 years? Right, shine.
This is a story about a city with high unemployment, abandoned industrial buildings, and where sheep are woven into everyday jokes, metaphors, stories, rituals, and advertisements. It's the story of how an art project brings actual sheep into the city for artists to transform their wool into art installations that provoke a citywide dialogue. RIJEKA, Croatia, was once a thriving industrial culture with a bustling seaport. With a population around 200,000, it was home to Croatia's main shipping pier. After the Croatian War, from all those conversations, an important question arose. What potential do newly public spaces left behind by deindustrialization offer socially engaged artists for addressing a city's collective desires for positive change? In RIJEKA, Matthew conceptualizes the Luca as an outdoor gallery. His first gesture is to build a barn and bring 7 sheep from the countryside to live on the pier. Matthew then invited 7 artists in RIJEKA to use wool sheared from sheep as a vehicle to develop projects to articulate the issues of the city they live in. They will based on
One of the things I wanted to do was incorporate some of the people that live in RIJEKA I wanted to make almost like a platform for their voices. So this work is about taking two elements that are very simple, sheep from outside and the leucobron, put them together to make some kind of energy. And then it was about taking the wool and giving it to these artists. And the idea was about transformation.
The project came to be known as PIER SHEAR.
U stvari ovdje jedno mjesto koje nije trebalo. When I'm making site-specific art installations, deciding what it's going to be, I always start with the question where. So first I walk along the given area to find the place that already have some magic. And when I say magic, I'm thinking of values that are good for human, like comfort, safety, nice view or such. And those values that aren't already there, I add up. Open area.
Hi, my name is Nika Rukavina and this is my piece. It's called Mololongo. Yeah, it's about the history of the leucobran. The leucobran was bombed in the Second World War and it was in the ruins, and I found this old photo and I wanted to reproduce it in wool. The wool is kind of stitched. So it's made like those old crafts. I don't know how to say it in English, but in Italian it's uncinetto, when you make with wool.
I see the PIER as a point of convergence of two rhythms, the predictable, incessant rhythm of industry and urbanity and the domestic, rural rhythm of agriculture of sheep. My work, titled Stranded Sheep, combines performance and installation to create an allegory for RIJEKA's transformation. In my story of how the sheep got to this part of the world, a ship carrying sheep